Peace, y'all. Jonny Fastlane here. So, Kodak Black gets released from jail, and Dave East ain't feeling Old Town Road. Plus, Nicki Minaj fires her whole management team. Let's talk hip-hop.
Kodak, is it true you had marijuana and guns in the car last night?
Yo, Benz. Stop playing. My son got them racks. What y'all talking about? Kodak, you go down. Yo, Mr. C, it's like.
Alright, so, this clip right here, years from now, right, when the Kodak Black story comes out on VH1, this clip right here is going to be like a classic ass clip. You know how like they got them classic Michael Jackson clips, or them, like I'm telling you right now, Kodak Black is gonna be a legend, and he's in the making right now. So this is fire, right? Look, yo. He got arrested yesterday. Y'all know he got arrested at the United States-Canada border, trying to come back into the USA with, guns and drugs in his, tour bus or whatever, right? So I was thinking to myself, and I said this yesterday, I'm like, how in the hell did they buy guns in Canada? Like, did they sneak the guns into Canada and couldn't sneak them back out? Like, what the fuck happened? Like, what happened, right? So apparently, he wasn't in Canada at all. I mean, well, he was, but only for a little while, right? So he was in Michigan, right? And he had a show there, and he was going to go from Michigan to Massachusetts, right? To Boston to have his show there, right? So remember, 2 nights ago, he just completely did not show up for his Boston show, right? And people were saying like Kodak Black is missing, right? Like a missing persons report. Like, has that ever happened to you? Like, has anybody famous ever just like went completely missing before, right? Well, it happened to Kodak Black 2 nights ago, right? But the reason why is because he was arrested. He was locked up in jail, right? So I guess, they were in the tour bus, right? And also they had a Porsche too. So the Porsche was following the tour bus, and they type in, where they need to go in Boston for the other show into the GPS, right? And I guess the GPS, you know how GPS is, right? Sometimes it takes you the long way, sometimes it takes you, the short way, but I guess the GPS was trying to take them the long way, but I guess it would have been the shorter drive, maybe like to avoid traffic or something. So instead of going straight through, we're gonna go up and around, right? So basically the GPS led them into Canada and then back out to Canada so that they can get to Massachusetts, because you got to understand, this is all like northern United States. So we're dealing with like, the Finger Lakes, we're dealing with, northern New York, like pretty Canada, everything that's like up there, right? And even though I'm in New York City, right? The 5 boroughs, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan, and Queens, and Staten Island. So I'm like 8 hours away from like northern New York, which is like far as hell, right? So anyway, right? So that's what happened. So they follow the GPS, and they're driving, and I guess you get to a point of no return where you're on a line, and if you want to turn around, it ain't happening, right? So they ask them for their passports, to get into Canada. Kodak Black and everybody shows their passports. Boop, they go to Canada. They just said, you know what? Let's just keep going forward. They end up in Canada, and they're following the GPS, and then they're going to get on the bridge and come back out of Canada to go back into Massachusetts, right? But they didn't think like, yo, we got blah, blah, blah on us. Let's just get rid of this shit. We got to pull off on the side of the highway. We got to throw it out, whatever the case may be, right? So they come back down, they try to come back down into the US, but this time, the US customs, they check in, so Canada, they was real lackadaisical. They was like, oh, okay, cool, you good, mate? Hey, you're good, eh? But coming back down into the US, they're like, nah, let's check this, right? So they check the tour bus, they check the Porsche in the back, they find a gun on the tour bus, and they found like 4 guns in the Porsche or something like that, right? So Kodak Black was only locked up for like maybe 4 or 5 hours though, right? He ends up getting out, and y'all see him with like this fan of money, right? Usually when you coming out and you walk in with your lawyer, you might cover your face with your jacket or something. You might cover your face with a book or something. I mean, real G's, like the mob bosses, I never seen them cover their face. John Gotti walked out just like this, looking at everybody, cameras and everything. What up? You know what I'm saying? Kodak had the money fan, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just fire, right? Yo, and I don't give a damn what you say. I don't care what you feel about Kodak Black. This shit was dope. That's real hip hop. You got locked up. You coming out of jail, you hit him with the money fan, that's hip hop. I don't give a damn, man. Like, hip hop is a combination of a bunch of things, and being braggadocious is part of it, okay? And that was fire. That's what I'm saying. Like, walking out of jail right there with that fan is going to be like, go down in history. Like, I've never seen it done before. And if a Kodak, yo, I'm just telling you right now, yo. So, anyway, he got a show tonight that he's going to be doing too. And, you know, word is that he's going to do the show tonight anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a minor hiccup, right? So you seen that he's like, my son got them racks. Like, I guess that was just like a fan that was like super hype, you know, and waiting for Kodak Black to come out. You know what I'm saying? I think that probably, like I said, Kodak's homeboy, you know, I don't know, Blizzy or somebody going to take the charge, and, you know, he's going to be okay. But, you know, this is just crazy, yo. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
Fucking Old Town Road shit is fucking whack. I don't know what the fuck is going on with hip hop, with rap, but I ain't no hater, man. That shit is whack with a cape on it. It's super whack.
Dave East is upset, yo. Yo, let me tell you something right now, right? He ain't feeling Old Town Road, right? He's like, Old Town Road is whack, right? Matter of fact, it ain't just regular whack, yo, right? It's whack with a cape on it, okay? So that means that shit is super whack. Yo, listen, man, I get it, right? So Dave East, right? He's from New York. He's from Harlem, right? He's like a nigga from Harlem, right? So I posted this on Twitter yesterday, right? And, you know, mad people was commenting on it. They're like, how do you expect a nigga from Harlem to like a country song, right? But I'm a nigga from Brooklyn, and I do think that Old Town Road is dope, right? So here's the thing, right? Dave East, you know, he's more like a lyrical kind of rapper, you know. He's been on songs with like Don Q. He's been on songs with like Fabulous, you know, he's definitely lyrical, right? He was discovered by Nas, actually, right? So Nas signed him to Mass Appeal, and then actually Nas, that's when Wayno from Everyday Struggle was his manager, right? And then he actually signed to Def Jam. So, you know, once Dave East got to Def Jam, they started doing like artist development and stuff on him, which is kind of different from how they do people now today, right? So usually, you know, they want you to be hot already. So like a Cardi B, you got 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, you know, subscribers or followers on Instagram already. And then, you know, the record label comes to you and says, yo, you dope, you fire, you got a good following. I think that there's some money that could be made here. So, you know, sign right here, something like that, like a Cardi B, right? But for Dave East, you know, it was like more like the old school kind of way. Dave East is almost like an old school rapper, but he's like in today's time, which is weird, you know. So Dave East, you know, he got discovered by Nas, and then they did artist development with him. So, you know, they actually, you know, groomed him and kind of like put him out to the public, you know, put his image together, you know, like what they used to do back in the day, right? Dave East, you know, he kind of reminds me of like a Method Man, you know, if anybody, right? And it's cool, right? Dave East is dead nice. He spits, and he spits, you know, fire, right? But Dave East would never like do a song like Old Town Road, which is understandable, right? So his whole like pocket, so hip hop is broken into like so many different genres now that a Dave East's pocket or his genre is not a Lil Nas X's pocket or his genre, right? Oh, and by the way, Lil Nas X loves Nas. Nas is his favorite rapper, and Dave East was discovered by Nas, so they might have a little bit more in common than what Dave East really thinks, right? But, you know, listen, right? Hip hop is not all about just, you know, rapping about the struggle and where you came from and like your hard life growing up and everything like that. You know, hip hop is supposed to be fun too. Hip hop music, right? So we're talking about music, right? Music is supposed to be fun. Music is supposed to make you dance. Music is supposed to make you want to sing along. Well, I wanna, you know, music is supposed to make you want to like feel good, right? Music is supposed to put you in a different headspace too. Music is supposed to make you think, right? But music is also there to make you feel good, right? And so Dave East, what he's saying is like, what is hip hop come to? But really and truly, hip hop is the same as it's always been, right? So even back in the day, you always had, even though you had, you know, NWA, right? Eazy-E and Straight Outta Compton and Crazy Motherfucking Name, you know what I'm saying? But you also had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know what I'm saying? Ran in West Philadelphia, born and raised, you know, and his hip hop was fun. His hip hop was funny. Like, he was a comedian. You see him spray painting the wall in the playground. The cop comes up to him with the baton and he's like, "No, officer, I'm just putting on deodorant." You know what I'm saying? Like, why would a nigga be putting on deodorant in the middle of the park? You spraying fucking spray paint under your arms and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but hip hop has always been like that, right? For every DMX, there's a Puff Daddy and Mace with the shiny suits and the lights and the dancers and everything like that. So hip hop has always been, you know, hardcore, grimy, and then funny, and then shiny. I mean, it's everything. So you're allowed to give your take on hip hop, right? And I think that I love Dave East's music, but I also love Lil Nas X's song because it kind of is fun. Like, why can't we just have a little bit of fun, you know? Like, why so serious? You know what I'm saying? Like, have some fun. Like, let your hair down a little bit. It's okay to have fun with hip hop. It's a hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? And I respect what Dave East is doing, but I also respect what Lil Nas X is doing. I pretty much respect what all these rappers are doing, unless they try to like perpetuate something like violence or, you know, something crazy, or like glorify. Even like a Nipsey Hussle was dope. Even though he was a Crip, he was rapping about uplifting your people and, you know, ownership and things like that. And I think it's real interesting to see like everybody's different take on what hip hop is to them because of where they're from or how they were raised, right? So Lil Nas X has every right to be in hip hop just as like a Dave East, but I get you. You know, Dave East, that's not your wave, that's not your bag, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Nobody says that Dave East has to like Lil Nas X, Old Town Road, a country song because he's a nigga from Harlem or anything, right? I just feel like, you know, let's just have a little bit of fun sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you turn on the news, people are killing each other. You know, you go outside, people are killing each other. You look on the internet, click, I'm going down my timeline on Instagram and people are killing each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to have a little bit of fun. It's almost like Dave East. I mean, and he's going through a lot right now. He's dealing with the loss of Nipsey Hussle and everything like that. But it's almost like he's like refusing to let your hair down, bro. Like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? I respect both of them, you know, but I just think that, you know, it's okay to be a little bit of fun sometime, you know? And then also, hip-hop started out back in the day in the park where you bragging, you like, yo, look at my motherfucking jean jacket I got on, nigga, look at my motherfucking yellow hat, you know what I'm saying? Just talking shit. Hip-hop wasn't always about being so serious all the time. So, I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments down below.
You guys, it's not in my best interest not to perform and lose money and aggravate my fans. I love performing for my fans. I'm more excited than you are before the show.
Yo, so Nicki Minaj fires her managers, right? And this is crazy because she's been like with them for like 10 years, right? They said that, you know, all right, there's two stories here, right? So one story is like, oh, you know, we just decided to mutually part ways. You know how like you break up with a girl or a guy and you're like, yo, yeah, you know, it wasn't nobody's fault. She didn't break up with me or I didn't break up with her. It's just that, you know, we decided to, you know, we grew apart or whatever, right? Yeah, okay, you grew apart. So that's kind of like what they telling the public, right? But really and truly, it has to be more than that, right? Because what artist at such a high profile as Nicki Minaj, right, would fire their management before they have other management in place, right? So a long ass time ago, like 10 years ago, right, Mimze was Nicki Minaj's manager, right? And Mimze is actually Waka Flocka's mom, right? So I know that's kind of weird and everything, like, how's Waka Flocka's mom Nicki Minaj's manager? But that's kind of how, Gucci Mane even really got in the game. So the whole thing is that, Gucci Mane had a manager who was Memze Entertainment. Boop, boop. It wasn't no Waka Flocka's mom at that point. It was, of course, Memze had a son, but her son would grow to be Waka Flocka, but the fact that she had a son was like irrelevant to anything, right? So, Memze has this artist, Gucci Mane, and they live in Atlanta, right? So you gotta understand that Waka Flocka's mom, Memze, is actually from Queens, right? And Flocka's from Queens too. He lived in Queens until he was like maybe 12 or 13. Nicki Minaj is from Queens. So, Nicki Minaj ended up moving to Atlanta, and also French Montana, he's from the Bronx, but he ended up moving to Atlanta too, right? So as, Memze is a Gucci Mane's manager, obviously, Waka Flocka was hanging around. He was in the studio with his mom and Gucci Mane, and Waka Flocka wanted to rap too, right? So Gucci Mane kind of took Waka Flocka under his wing. Waka Flocka was already a blood, Gucci Mane was a blood too, so they bonded on that. And then it was Flocka and Gucci, and then it was 1017 Brick Squad, so then Waka Flocka's mom actually became his manager too. So now Flocka is big, Gucci is big. That's around the time of OJ the Juice Mane, and then Waka Flocka's mom becomes French Montana's manager too. So they discovered Nicki Minaj, and it was Gucci Mane who actually discovered Nicki Minaj, bought Nicki Minaj to his manager Memze, and then Memze becomes Nicki Minaj's manager too, right? So this was like 10 years ago, and I remember when Waka Flocka and French Montana had an album together, right? Which is fire. It's called The Lockout, right? This came out a long ass time ago. It's like one of the hardest underground albums / mixtapes that you could ever hear. It's Waka Flocka and French Montana on it, every single song. I think Prodigy is on one of the songs, and it's just like fire. So y'all need to go listen to that if you got the time. But anyway, so after a little while of Memze being Nicki Minaj's manager, right? Nicki Minaj fires Memze, right? Waka Flocka's mom, but didn't fire Memze on no ill will or nothing like that. I just think that Nicki Minaj felt like she wanted to be bigger than what Memze could present to her. Even though Waka Flocka went on to be a superstar, Gucci Mane and French Montana all went on to be superstars, she wanted to be like mentioned with the Drakes and the Lil Waynes and the 2 Chainses, you know what I'm saying? So she decided to fire her manager, Memze Entertainment, and I don't think there was any bad blood or anything like that, but that was 10 years ago. She fired Memze and then got with Cortez, right? And she's been with Cortez for the last 10 years, right? Ever since 2009, right? So now, out of the blue, you fire Cortez, right? Just because you guys grew apart or whatever the case may be. So that's why I'm saying like that story don't really sound too real, right? So over the course of like the last couple of months, Nicki Minaj, she was on tour with Juice WRLD, right? But they were overseas and they had to cancel a few shows because of sound issues or whatever like that, right? And I don't really like know what that means. Like maybe that means that, there were sound issues, right? But maybe it means that, they didn't sell enough tickets. Maybe it means it was some kind of other technical problems, right? But whatever the case may be, fast forward to like 2 days ago, same deal, right? So Nicki Minaj was supposed to go on stage with Ariana Grande, and Ariana Grande did still perform, but Nicki Minaj couldn't perform with her because of sound issues, right? Sound issues. And apparently like right there backstage, like not like right in front of everybody, but like kind of like in front of everybody, Nicki Minaj basically says like, you're fired, you know what I'm saying? Which is crazy because you don't have other management in place. You're not thinking like of what other managers to get, but you straight up fire your managers. Like this is something else, right? So Cortez, like he manages like Ty Dolla $ign and like somebody else too. So like he's a high profile like manager, right? So obviously he's not gonna come out and say the real story that happened, and Nicki Minaj ain't gonna badmouth him either. But for you to like out of the blue, right, fire managers who you've had for like 10 years, that relationship that you've known somebody for 10 years, it's gotta be something like real serious, right? Like maybe they're messing up to the point where is stopping your bag. You know, Nicki Minaj might have even told herself, even from the time that, you know, her and Juice WRLD were overseas a couple months ago, like, yo, let these niggas mess up again, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am straight up firing them, right? And she did that shit, yo, like, right on the spot, right? So now Nicki Minaj don't got no management at all, which is crazy. Like, such a high profile artist to have no management, right? But, you know, really 6ix9ine never had any management. Well, Shotty, I guess, maybe, but, you know, Shotty wasn't like his real, well, that's a whole different thing. But Nicki Minaj don't have no management right now at all whatsoever, right? But I think that maybe she should holler like at Kanye West, because I feel like that's like the kind of like family that she's in, like a Kim K, Kanye West, like she's over there with them dudes, right? Soulja Boy, you know, and Soulja Boy messes with Kanye, you know, too. So I think that maybe if she hollers at, get the same manager as Kanye West, man. I think that dude is doing good, or that woman is doing good, or I don't even know who Kanye West's manager is. It could be Kim K, you know what I'm saying? Or Kris Jenner. So, hey, man, that actually will probably be good. But for right now, I'm sure there's probably people jumping at the opportunity to be like Nicki Minaj's new manager, right? But it's just crazy because she straight up fired her management team completely, right? But I'm sure that Nicki Minaj is going to be fine. I mean, it's Nicki Minaj, you know what I'm saying? So let me know what y'all think about all this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me at Jonny Fastlane, that's Jonny, Fastlane on everything, Instagram and Twitter. And y'all already know what to do. Peace.